Remember to turn on all notifications so you don't miss a video. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. This is part 3 of story theory in the Chunin exams. In the previous parts, I covered the quality behind the plot and the characters in this arc. You don't need to watch them in order because each video is capable of standing on its own since it covers a certain category of the story from front to back. Let's begin part 3. The themes and climaxes in this arc are very well written. I will be using the same tactic for analyzing themes that I've used on One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen. What I'm looking for is a theme, anti-theme, quotes, and a climax that proves the theme right, which is standard procedure for writing a theme and climax. The Chunin exams does this exceptionally well. In the written exam, which is part A of the plot, the anti-theme is Give Up When You're Overwhelmed, represented by Ibuki. The theme is Never Give Up, represented by Naruto. Ibuki doesn't have a quote, but everything he does supports this. He puts the genin in a difficult situation. They have a difficult test. Getting caught cheating will subtract points, and the exam is a team effort. For the 10th question, in chapter 43, he makes it harder. He adds the rule that if they reject the 10th question, they fail along with their teammates. And if they accept and get it wrong, they can never take the Chunin exams again. He wants to crush them with pressure. Of course, this is an act to force the ninja to get creative, but it's still the message he's pushing. People actually quit, but in the climax, Naruto delivers his theme line, I don't quit and I won't run. This allows him to pass the test without even answering a single question. In 44, Ibuki even explains the motive behind the test. In the fight against Orochimaru, which is the midpoint of part B, in chapter 47, Sasuke represents the anti-theme, while Naruto represents the theme. Sasuke is trying to run away from Orochimaru by giving him the scroll, in chapter 48. Orochimaru explains this as natural prey behavior, distracting the predator with bait. The anti-theme quote is from an Itachi flashback, hate me and live like the coward you are, cling to life without honor. Naruto refuses this and fights back. His theme quote is, I'm not so sure we need to be afraid of this guy, and Sakura reinforces this with her quote in chapter 49, Naruto's no coward. In the climax, Sasuke joins the theme and fights back. Although Orochimaru still gets the scroll, he lets them survive. In the fight against Team Dosu, in chapter 55, Sasuke wakes up and wants vengeance. He represents the anti-theme, show no mercy. This is physically conveyed by him breaking Zaku's arms before moving on to Dosu. The closest thing to an anti-theme quote is Sakura, point me out to the ones who pummeled you into that state. Sakura represents the theme, show mercy. The closest thing to a theme quote is please stop. In the climax, she stops Sasuke from taking out Dosu. They are rewarded with the Earth Scroll in chapter 56. In Neji vs Hinata, the midpoint of part C, Neji is the anti-theme, you can't change yourself. His quote in 78 is, it's completely clear that you are aware that you can never change yourself. Naruto is the theme, you can change yourself. His quote is, yes she can, in reply to Neji. Neji is claiming that Hinata has no courage. In the climax, despite losing the battle, she wins the ideological conflict by displaying the courage to go the distance, a physical display of the theme. In Lee vs Gaara, the climax of part C, the anti-theme is that geniuses are born. The theme is that geniuses can be made. Representatives of the anti-theme are Neji and Tenten. In 84, Tenten says, you don't stand a chance here, he's a genius, and you are not. It is implied she's referring to natural-born geniuses. Lee and Guy represent the theme. Guy says, you are a genius of hard work. In the climax, everyone is blown away by Lee's skills, including the doubters like Neji, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro, proving his genius. Gaara even asks, is he even human? Lee is rewarded by proving that he's a splendid ninja, which was his dream. In Naruto vs Neji, the anti-theme is that you can't change your destiny. Neji's quote from chapter 100 is, your entire destiny is set from the time you're born. Here are some extra quotes from before this fight. In chapter 78, Neji says this to Hinata, a leopard doesn't change its spots, a failure always fails, and a weak personality won't become strong. After Hinata's fight in 80, Neji also has the quote, you may as well accept who you are, once a failure, always a failure, to Naruto. The theme is that you can change your destiny. The quote is said by Genma after the climax in chapter 104. Naruto knows instinctively that believing in yourself can give you the power to change destiny. Lee also has a quote after Hinata's fight. The prospect of seeing a failure defeat a genius through sheer force of will, it really makes you look towards the finals. So to clarify, Neji believes that you can't change your destiny. Furthermore, he believes that Naruto's a failure who will always be a failure, meaning he can't beat him. A genius. Tenten supports this in 104 when she says, no genin could defeat Neji. I don't know how so many people misconstrued this as talent versus hard work. It's like a game of telephone happened instead of people reading for themselves. Anyway, what's ironic is that even before the climax, Neji contradicts his anti-theme in the same chapter he states it. Rotation is a secret art passed down only within the main branch. Yet Neji, of the cadet branch, mastered this move and surpassed the main branch. Also, in 103, Naruto points out Neji defying his fate against Hinata when he beat her up, even though the cadet branch's duty, or destiny, is to protect the main branch. Naruto's fate was to remain a failure and lose to Neji, but he eventually wins by not giving up until the end, even using an unconventional tactic like digging a hole with his hands. The image of his hanging nails and blood underneath them ties back to Lee's line about winning with sheer force of will. In Naruto vs. Gaara, the climax of Part E, the anti-theme is that fighting for yourself makes you strong. Gaara's quote is in 132, "You should only love yourself, only fight for yourself. That's the definition of the strongest one." The theme is that fighting for others makes you strong. Naruto's quote is in 133, but that's not what it takes to be truly strong. You can't really get strong just fighting only for yourself. A Haku flashback finishes it off with, "When people are protecting something truly precious to them, they truly can become strong as they must be," which is a brilliant callback. Protecting his friends allowed him to summon 2,000 clones in 133 and Kamabunta in 134. Seeing Sakura in danger allowed him to summon Red Chakra in 136 and land the penultimate blow in the climax. This arc is able to weave together several different plot lines and balance them all exceptionally well. A story that is capable of doing this adds more layers to its plot. Because the plot lines go in and out, I'll try to stick to pointing out the scenes where they are isolated from the other plots. The main plot line is of Team 7 trying to compete in the Chunin exams, but surrounding that, there are plot lines for the Sand siblings, Team Dosu, Orochimaru, Kabuto as a spy, the rivalry circle, Sasuke's curse mark, and the war. I'll start with the Sand siblings. They are introduced in chapter 35, and we get a feel for Gaara's and Kankuro's personalities. Gaara is hyped up by Kabuto in chapter 39 with his info cards. His status as a prodigy is once again reinforced in chapter 57 when it is revealed that the Sand siblings completed the exam early. We see how vicious and powerful he is in 58. Once the forest is complete, he blends in with the main plot and defeats Lee, showing off more of his power. In chapter 91, Gaara kills Dosu, who is surprised by something off-screen. That something is gone into more detail around Sasuke's fight with him, and fully revealed in the third act and his final battle. Gaara was a Jinchuriki, like Naruto. The next plotline is Team Dosu's. They are introduced in chapter 35, but not much is shown. They attack Kabuto in chapter 40 for mocking Odo. Dosu slightly shows off his powers here. In chapter 51, the team attacks Team 7 for Orochimaru in order to test Sasuke's powers. Dosu realizes Orochimaru's plan, but no longer wants to be his guinea pig. In chapter 91, he tries to kill Gaara, but is killed instead. Finally, Zaku and Kin are used as sacrifices by Orochimaru to revive the first and second Hokages. Next is Orochimaru's plotline. He first appears in chapter 45 in his disguise. He has a strange interaction with Anko. He comes back to fight Team 7 in 46. In 49, Anko finds bodies with their faces removed. Orochimaru peels off his face in the same chapter, revealing that it was his doing. After giving Sasuke the curse mark, he fights Anko in chapter 50, and we learn that she was his student. His presence is known by Anko and reported to the Anbu in 57. The Hokage learns that Orochimaru is after Sasuke in 64. In chapter 66, the adults are aware of Sasuke's curse mark and want to forfeit him. Orochimaru watches Sasuke's match, hoping to see the curse mark, but it doesn't happen. He pulls up on Kakashi in 69 when he's stealing the mark. He disappears for most of the story until it's revealed that he was disguised as the Kazekage in 115. He has his climactic battle against Hiruzen. Next is Kabuto as Orochimaru's spy. He shows up in 39 and gets friendly with the rookies by using his info cards. He returns to stop Team 7 from opening the scroll in 60 and works with them from there on. His bloodlust during the Oboro fight hints at something wrong, and Sasuke is bothered by him in 63. In the same chapter, he meets up with Orochimaru, revealing that he's a spy. In 56, Kabuto quit the preliminaries to keep his cover. Kabuto and Orochimaru meet up in 88 again. Kabuto's issues with Orochimaru are planted all the way back here. He tries to kill Sasuke to stop Orochimaru, but is stopped by Kakashi. The Odo-Suna alliance was revealed in 92 when Kabuto chats with Baki. He knocks out Kiba and Hinata in chapter 103 while dressed as an Anbu. He uses the Genjutsu that puts everyone to sleep in 114. He meets Kakashi during the war, but he gets no action. Next is the rivalries. There's a large rivalry circle, including Naruto, Sasuke, Lee, Neji, and Gaara during this arc. Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry was set up in the previous arc, but all the new characters are set up by chapter 36. In 37, Lee fights Naruto, then Sasuke. This makes the three conscious rivals. In the Dosu fight, Sasuke outshines Lee, and Neji witnesses it. Now Neji has a rivalry with Lee and Sasuke. In 66, Sasuke wants to test his strength against Neji, Gaara, Lee, Dosu, and Naruto. In 68, Lee and Neji see Sasuke's fight. Lee is impressed, and Tenten compares Neji to Sasuke as top rookies of their years. She wonders who'd win in a fight between them. Sasuke also wants to see the others fight. Lee vs Gaara was built up in 74, adding him to the circle. Naruto challenges Neji in 81. Now Naruto and Neji are connected in the circle. Lee vs Gaara happens in 82. When Lee is entering the gates, he thinks of Lee, Sasuke, and Naruto. In the finals, Naruto is placed against Neji, capitalizing on their feud, and Sasuke against Gaara, initiating his rivalry. When Naruto and Shikamaru stop Gaara from killing Lee in 96, Naruto realizes his similarities to Gaara, connecting them in the circle. Sasuke has his match against Gaara, and when the war starts in 115, Sasuke continues his match against Gaara in 124. Finally, in 128, Naruto and Gaara begin their battle. This is a very well-written circle of rivals with a lot of interactions. Neji got the short end of the stick because he only got to fight one rival, Naruto. Naruto, Lee, and Gaara fought 3, and Sasuke fought 2. Next is Sasuke's curse mark. He got the mark in chapter 49. He first activated it in 55. Now, both Naruto and Sasuke have some evil power that was forced onto them, poetic symmetry. In 62, the mark slows down his movements. It begins to spread as he uses the Sharingan. Kabuto was tracking Sasuke's progress in 63. In 66, his mark makes Sakura want him to quit the prelims. Even the adults consider taking him out. Kakashi tells him that if he uses it, he'll be suspended. In Sasuke vs Yoroi, he can't use Sharingan and spends the whole match struggling trying not to use chakra. Finally, in Sasuke's fight against Gaara, he uses the mark to get a third Chidori in 128. The last plotline is the war of Konoha vs Suna and Odo. In 64, Hiruzen says that he'll keep an eye on Orochimaru's movements. In chapter 92, Hayate spies on Kabuto and Baki's discussion and fights the latter. In chapter 93, the Jonin discuss Hayate's dead body. They believe it's connected to Orochimaru and know that Kabuto is a spy. They consider Kaze's betrayal and dispatch Anbu. In chapter 95, a flashback showed Baki talking to the Sand siblings about Kaze and Odo's alliance and the Konoha Crush plan. In chapter 113, people start being put to sleep and Kabuto uses his whole jutsu in 114. Orochimaru is revealed to be the Kazekage in 115 and the war breaks out, continuing until the climax of the arc. In conclusion, the Chunin exams arc shows off a mastery of themes, climaxes, and weaving together multiple plot lines. Progress in the plots are planted all over the arc and nicely spread out. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.